So if you're thinking about what does it actually look like to go on this journey of AI adoption in your organization, without just causing lots of havoc and disruption to your team, but actually just deliver practical improvements to services that you know are possible. This video and this new series I'm doing is for you. We're going to just take a straight line path approach to here's a problem, how do we solve it? And today I'm starting with one that I think is felt by where certainly every local authority, every public sector agency, but also a lot of businesses and organizations. And that is how you handle inbound demand and just getting inundated with questions, with queries, with complaints. Your teams are likely bogged down in repetitive queries, endless customer demand, and ultimately this is impacting service delivery. And in this use case, what it's going to mean is for the customer is getting speed of response, quality of response based on what it can pull from the system, a better overall experience, particularly in terms of giving a much wider choice for even how they can input and communicate, and just making that tailored around what works for them, and probably solving one of the biggest breakdowns of trust in for the customer communication is when you just send a message into the void and don't hear anything. Instead, we're going to be able to give instant real-time tracking so they can track the progress at every stage, and it's going to look visual and slick. Not only will this increase customer trust and experience and overall satisfaction, it's going to really drive down the demand that would otherwise be diverted elsewhere, such as when they just pick up the phone and spend hours on the line trying to get in touch. So much of that demand is now going to be removed. I built this app as a proof of concept of what you can build quite quickly. There are four main things working here. So we have a really nice, slick front end experience. Having our back end AI automation. This is the engine at work. And for that, I'm using NA10. And then the two other components are going to be your kind of your database, as in your CRM, which is where queries go and how they're handled. And then the fourth area is going to be your knowledge base. And the AI automation is going to be able to pull and access this information to provide the most intelligent response. And this is all quite simple now to build. So without further ado, let's have a look at how this works. So we're going to submit new query, and we're going to say Helen, Alexander, let's just say hey, ha at me.com. And then let's just say something like other, and let's just say, hey, has there been any update to the works on Stonebridge Road? And let's just see what it does. And then when I submit query, we're gonna do another example using audio, and I'm gonna show you how that works as well. So it's doing some scanning on the back end. What's happening here is that it is pulling that data. It's and it's going to look something like this. And so this is what then comes back. Inquiry received successfully. And this is what we'll get. Hi, Helen. Thanks for getting in touch about the latest updates to the works. Good news, the work's progressing well. Recent updates confirm that. And here we go. And all of this will be confirmed. The current scheduled completion date is 30th of August 2025. It's worth asking, where is it getting some of this data from? What we have here is a report that I've uploaded to the system in advance. And because it's on the back end in the data, and we're going to look at this in a second, our AI automation is able to pull from this information in drafting the response in real time. Summary, work progressing well, key phases, but you kind of got the update there. But that's not all it's going to do. It's going to give you kind of, what happens next. But then the killer that I think is what I think is going to really begin to just improve the service you deliver is when you can actually give something back to the user in real time and say, hey, here is a live ticket that's been generated. That gives you visibility of the situation. And with this visibility, that creates integrity, transparency, and builds trust instantly. And this isn't just a dummy. This actually works. So if we go to the backend data and go to resident inquiries, so this here it is at the top. And if I were to go to edit row, so now imagine I'm no longer the user, I'm the backend member of staff, and I've got this on a beautiful looking CRM, much more beautiful than this. I can go to edit row, and if I was to change this received to resolved or anything in between, and then press save, look what's going to happen. So here we go. So if I look at view tracking page, so I can press view tracking page, or I can actually then copy this here. So let's go to copy. Okay, let's view tracking page for a second. View tracking page is now updated the progress in terms of now resolved, and it's just kind of it's got all the information that's there, and all of that. If you think of the experience, this is a really slick, enjoyable experience for the customer. They're not having to kind of wade through lots of information. It doesn't feel um, automated and generic. It feels custom, and the key components are building a really nice front end. Obviously, AI automation is the main thing. You know, I use NA10, you can use Power Automate, you can use make.com. But yeah, I use NA10. Now, I don't want to oversimplify it. A lot is going on here, but it's going on behind the scenes. So I don't want the user to see this. I don't even really want my team to see this. I think my team would be overwhelmed and intimidated by having to kind of come here. They just get to kind of stay user friendly on the user friendly side of things, while all this happens in the background. Let's just give it another go and let's just see what we get. So this time, I'm not going to speak to something on the system. I'm just going to come up with a new query, but I want to use audio. And I think creating good services, the more someone thinks, oh, this is really easy to use, this is very intuitive, the more they're going to think this is a brilliant experience. So let's go to audio. And let's put in, give me a name, Adam Taylor. And let's just say at me.com. And I'm going to, so let's start recording. Hi there, I'm calling to raise an issue about a burst water pipe at the bottom of our road. It's caused a lot of issues, and what it's meant is that two of my neighbours, their kitchen is completely flooded, and additionally, it's just getting worse and worse, and my water bill is only going to go up, and I'm not happy. Please can you look into this urgently? It's getting really bad, and the water is still flowing. Press submit. And again, what's going to happen in the background when I do that? It's gone down this route now. So this route is the audio route, but the same process is happening. On the front end, I'm getting this really nice looking something is happening experience. And then hopefully what I'm going to receive is, okay, great. So in those I've called Adam, so I'll put that in there. Hi, Adam. Your inquiry about the burst water pipe at the bottom of the road has been received. Sorry about the trouble this has caused you and your neighbours, including flooding in your kitchen and concerns around water bills. This is clearly a serious issue and getting worse and water continues. Here's what happens next. Now imagine if you actually had policy, guidance, anything, or even you could drop a voice note in the same system and say this, and it will be able to communicate that and go out as comms to your residents. It's detected that it's high. So one of the things in the system is I want you to detect whether it's a low, medium, or high risk issue or urgent. It's determined that it's high priority. It's giving me a tracking reference that, and again, that allows me to kind of track it. I can share this with my neighbors and say, hey, this is the tracking reference number. So I think that is just brilliant. And we can see, this is just a proof of concept. Hopefully you can see the possibility for this is 10x, 100x. You can make this much better. You could join it up to so many other points of information. So I just want to talk through very quickly how this is actually working. This isn't a technical video per se. We will cover this more going forward, but just to give a high level. So the form, and behind any form, there's always like a database, whether it's Supabase or Google Sheets, Excel, you name it. When a new row, so a new submission is added, that obviously generates a new row. When a new row is added, that's going to trigger a webhook. So this is going to be listening at all times. And when a new row is added, it's going to trigger the process where it's first going to get the information from, so it's going to get all the information from that new row, so the entire submission. It's going to determine whether, because I wanted to give the option of a text-based response or an audio response, it means a little bit more work in the back end where it first needs to determine, is this a text file or an audio file? If it's a text file, the transcript will go straight through. If it's an audio file, it needs to unpack that, transcribe it, and so that's what it's going to do here. Then once we have the transcript, it's going to do two important AI steps. The first kind of bit of AI work it's going to do is going to use the vector store. And what this means is it's going to you're able to add, so like documents like I shared previously, to a vector store where, and this could be reports, 1,000-page reports, emails, voice notes, just anything and everything that you want to add into the knowledge. You can literally add your entire knowledge base into vector stores. And then when it's connected to your flow, the, the agent is going to be able to scan it in seconds, whether there's any contextual or contextually relevant information in the system that relates to the query at hand. And if there is, it's going to be able to pull that, and it's then going to pass it to the next agent who's then going to draft a response using that. And imagine like two colleagues working together. If there isn't, it's not going to hallucinate. You'll get a slightly more generic response, but it will still sound personalized and intelligent and nuanced, but it won't have, any live information per se. And once it's done that, it's then going to update the information on the system, and it's going to send the information back to the front end, a person who is kind of filling out the information. So they're going to see a really slick response while this happens on the back end. So that's how it works. And this is very skeletal. If I was building this out for a team, there are 100 more things I can add. You could obviously have it to trigger emails when it reaches different stages. It could obviously draft this, it can draft that, it can pull other bits of information. It can do quite a lot here, but hopefully that gives you a glimpse into just the AI automation on the back end behind the flow. So hopefully that was interesting, helpful. Where does this go from here? Just start with like, what are your objectives? What are your pain points? What are the things that are like the snags and the snares in your existing process where it's like, it slows down here. This takes up a lot of time. This should form the goal of almost like the problems that you can probably, very, very probably solve quite quickly and powerfully using AI automation. If you want to have a chat, feel free to kind of click the link below and book a call, and be happy to kind of help talk you through on your journey. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.